Question 15, interview with a Spanish environmentalist. You're listening to a podcast with the environmentalist Adela del Olmo, who is working in Costa Rica. Answer all parts of the question in English. So we have 3 parts to this. Even though there are 3 parts, it's just the one recording, so I have to be listening out for all 3 of them. Explain what Adela does in the environment group. Explain why she has been impressed with today's young people. What example does she give of how little things have a big impact? Okay, let's have a look. Adela, usted es miembro de un grupo ecologista muy activo. Dígame qué hace. Visito institutos para explicar las mejores maneras de cuidar el medio ambiente. ¿Y cómo responden los estudiantes? Estoy muy impresionada con los jóvenes de hoy porque tienen ideas muy claras de cómo ahorrar la energía. ¿Me puede dar un ejemplo? Muchas veces las pequeñas cosas tienen un impacto grande, como asegurar que todos los ordenadores del instituto estén apagados al final del día. So let's come back. First part, explain what Adela does in the environment group. What does she do? That's going to come up in our first response here, in response to where it says, Adela, usted es miembro de un grupo ecologista muy activo. So Adela, you're a member of a very active environmentalist group. Dígame qué hace. Tell me what you do. So she replies with, visito institutos para explicar las mejores maneras de cuidar el medio ambiente. So she says, I visit schools to explain the best ways of looking after the environment. So that's our most detailed response to the first part. She visits groups to explain the best ways of looking after the environment. Then the second part, explain why she's been impressed with today's young people. So it says, ¿Y cómo responden los estudiantes? And how do the students respond? She says, Estoy muy impresionada con los jóvenes de hoy. I'm very impressed with today's young people porque tienen ideas muy claras, because they have very clear ideas de cómo ahorrar la energía, of how to save energy. So that's our second response. She's impressed because the young people have very clear ideas about how to save energy. And thirdly, what example does she give of how little things have a big impact? So she's asked, ¿Me puede dar un ejemplo? Can you give me an example? And she replies, Muchas veces las pequeñas cosas tienen un impacto grande. So many times the small things have a big impact. ¿Cómo asegurar que todos los ordenadores del instituto estén apagados al final del día? Like making sure that all the computers in the school are switched off at the end of the day. So in response to the example, it's making sure all the computers are switched off at the end of the day. Now, if you weren't sure whether your response was acceptable or not, you can see here, I won't talk you through the whole thing, but you can see an example from the exam board of what sorts of responses they would accept and what they wouldn't accept. And usually with the wouldn't accepts, it's because it's not a full enough, not a detailed enough response. So you really are having to show that you are fully understanding what is mentioned in the recording.